people used to ask me why I loved horror movies so much, and that question, just the question, made it sound like there was something dirty about it, which of course only made me want to watch more. But what I learned when I got older was this: I'm sensitive, and because I'm sensitive, I tend to feel things on a deeper level. Because I'm sensitive, I don't always feel emotional about the trite things other people do because there's no depth to the feeling. The same goes for entertainment. Since horror movies are visceral and shocking, they provoke a strong emotional response out of me. When I respond to something emotionally that is strong, I start thinking deeper and deeper. Horror movies promote critical thinking. They certainly made one out of me, and that's why I do what I do, to promote critical thinking. Critical thinkers make better decisions and live happier lives because they think outside of the box and are not intimidated by the judgment of others. This is why horror movies matter, because they made a deep thinker out of me, and here's what I mean by that. When the Screaming Stops is actually a film about cultural identity and how beliefs, customs, and norms are more frightening than a woman who can turn into a lizard. An attractive woman seeks the help of a man to protect her young female charge at some type of women's college for swimming. Not only is it interesting that women look to men to protect them, but they only look to certain men, and always seem knowingly correct.
You don't have to send for Seabird. I'll hunt down this beast.
It's ice cold. Pretty soon we won't be able to swim anymore.
See, a woman's college for swimming.
What makes this film
Remarkably interesting is that this is a European film being made at the climax of the Cold War and being marketed at Westerners, so the dialogue is meant to sound very American, and the setups are clearly from American cinema, but the dialogue is written by Italians. So what we have here is an impression of Westerners by Easterners during a very tense time, and the resulting dialogue is remarkable.
I don't feel so good.
You'll be okay when we get off.
What is it, Maggie? Nothing. It's almost over. Like they say, I think the kid's got football boots, and he uses them to take dancing lessons.
And the interactions between the characters illustrate the strange impression we give Easterners about how we treat each other and how we confuse the validity of our emotions for entitlement to act upon them.
Very nice guy. I like Carol a lot, too, and she's crazy about you.
Right. But don't let the flattery go to your head. Never let the chance go by.
What's the matter, Mr. Weiser?
I like him a lot. He's my best friend. But the fact is, Carol's my sister.
And it clearly illustrates our flippant attitude toward the big stuff.
Take over?
I'd love to.
Okay. Keep your eye on the compass and correct the bearing if the needle slips away from this point. It's easier to do than explain. Very good.
Thank you.
What was your first authentic theatrical horror experience?
The first theatrical exhibition of a horror film that I can remember seeing took place in the summer of 1982 at the Highway Drive-In in Fountain Springs, Pennsylvania, just outside of Ashland, and it was on a double bill. The exhibition was American Werewolf in London and Halloween 2. I was there to see Halloween 2. I had just seen Halloween premiere that previous October on NBC. And when the sequel came to the drive-in, we begged Dad to take us, and Dad took us. It was an interesting night because it rained through most of Werewolf, and nobody cared. Everybody stayed. Everybody was there for Halloween 2 anyway. I mean, you have to understand, at my age, I didn't even know if Werewolf was a sensation. I only saw it because it was on a bill with the movie that I wanted to see. And it was like father and son night at the movies that night. That's what I remember. All of my friends from school were there with their dads because they had also seen Halloween on television that previous October, and we just couldn't take it. We needed to know where that guy got up and went to. So that was my first theatrical exhibition that I can remember of a horror film, and man, what a great memory. Some other good memories I have, I remember seeing Friday the 13th, the final chapter on opening day. People were crazy, insane. What a good time. I also saw Friday the 13th Part 5 on opening day, and I'm going to tell you, it was well received. In the theater, in the packed theater that I saw it in, I am telling you, it was well received. I love Kane Hodder and all, and what he did, what he contributed to that series is fantastic, but honestly, man, I will forever wish that we got the Tommy Jarvis storyline. It was really shaping up to be something, man. Seeing The Exorcist in 2000 upon its re-release in New Brunswick, New Jersey, with a packed house, and their terrified reaction to a film that was already older than they were, what a great time that was. That was a great exhibition. Theatrical experiences are so important because you have to understand the director shot them to be exhibited on these screens in CinemaScope. The theatrical experience is important. Please, if you feel motivated to see a film, see it theatrically. There is no other experience like it. That's what they are made for, to be experienced in a theatrical exhibition.